Hi, welcome to my channel or welcome back. So today I'm going to do something I haven't really done before. I'm going to sit down and talk about some books that I have not liked. So I've read most of these books pretty recently, and I've just found either that I didn't like the characters, the plot, the writing, everything. Some of the books you will probably disagree with, and that's fine. Like, I don't care if you like them. I'm not like mad at these books for being something that wasn't for me. They weren't for me, and I didn't like them. So if you like them, that's fine. Try not to get too mad at me. I'll try to go kind of easy on them because I know that some people probably love these books, but they just weren't for me. They weren't my thing, and I have them all saved on my phone. So the first one is The Crown by Kiera Cass. And while I really like Kiera Cass, she seems like a really cool person, and I like the Selection series well enough. I feel like we didn't need two more books about the daughter of the main characters in the Selection series. I just feel like she was kind of annoying, and their daughter was, besides being just kind of annoying character, she was just mean. I feel like she was so mean to these boys that had to come and be in a selection for her. And why was there another selection? Like, there didn't need to be another one. It's just so silly because in the first, like, trilogy, the selection is like a horrible thing, and the caste system is a horrible thing that shouldn't be going on. But then they're kind of like bringing it back. They're like going back in history and repeating history in these next two books, and I feel like it was so unnecessary, and that it could have been done a lot better, and they could have made. I feel like Kiera Cass could have made their daughter so much more likable if she was just not as like, I don't know, mean. And I feel like she was just trying to be heartless. Like, she felt like she needed to be um, their daughter, not Kiera Cass. But the character was just, oh, she was so annoying to me. And I couldn't like her. So, yeah, basically that was it. So this next one, I think some other people have kind of agreed with me that Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard is not their favorite book. It's not something that I hated, but I didn't love the first book. Red Queen was so, I don't know, it felt like a whole bunch of other plots taken from other like teen novels, smushed into one, and kind of just recycled into this story that really wasn't that great. And the relationships in it, I wasn't feeling any of them. I didn't like them. I didn't feel like they were like worth reading. And even though I kind of felt like, oh, it wasn't worth reading, maybe the second book, maybe she like, usually I try to go to the second book because maybe they redeem themselves in that book. But I really, really hated Glass Sword. It was so bad to me and boring. I don't know. I couldn't like it. And I really hate the way Maven turned out. I feel like she could have done more with this character. It was so typical what happened, and yeah, I wasn't feeling it at all. So this next one is going to get me in trouble. I know it is because people love this book, and I might try it again because so many people love it, and more books in the same world have come out. So it's Shadow and Bone by Leah Bardo. Anyways, this book wasn't bad. It just wasn't my favorite. The characters were okay. Sort of. I liked the Darkling. He was interesting. Um, he was a good protagonist, but I mean antagonist, but the protagonist, I just I really didn't like her very much. I feel like she just so easily ignored all these red flags around her, and she was so easily tricked by the Darkling, I feel like. And I mean, maybe anyone in that situation would have been, but I don't know, she's a protagonist. I feel like she should be smarter. I I just wasn't really loving her. Let me know in the next book, is she smarter? Does she make better decisions? Because maybe I'll try it again. I don't know. If I do, I'll let you know and what I thought about it. So this next one, I don't think will be that surprising. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, so it's probably not like a super beloved book. I mean, it might be, I don't know. But if you've read the Shiver trilogy by Maggie Steffaner, That's how I say her name. But if you've read those, they were good to me. The characters were a little flat, and sometimes it got boring, but I don't know. I still liked it. I feel like just everything fit with that book. I feel like the characters fit the plot, and the pacing was fine to me. I really didn't have a problem with it. But in saying that, the side characters were a little more like 3D. There's more to them. And I was excited when Sinner came out because I thought finally we're getting a book about the side characters that were actually really interesting. And I was feeling their chemistry like hardcore in the Shiver trilogy. I love their chemistry. But in Sinner, oh my gosh, it fell so flat. I feel like oh, I just really hated that book, and I wish I didn't. I feel like I wasn't even reading Maggie's book because usually when she writes beautifully and poetically, and it sounds nice and it flows well, but Sinner did not to me. I didn't like the way it began or ended, and so many things in between. Their relationship just gets, I mean, it's fine if it gets more complicated, but it gets just ridiculous. Like, I don't know why this girl is putting up with him anymore because, and I don't know why he's putting up with her, that they just aren't fitting like they were in the Shiver trilogy, and it frustrated me so much because they had chemistry. And I feel like so many things could have been resolved, answers could have, we could have gotten some answers, and I just feel like I didn't get any. And it has been a while since I've read this book, so I can't remember everything, but I just know that I really, really hated it. So the next one is Delirium by Lauren Oliver. And while I love Lauren Oliver, I'm actually reading a book by her right now. It's an adult book. It's the first I've ever seen of an adult book that she's read. I don't know if or that she's written. I don't know if she's written any others, but it's called Rooms, and it's really good. It's going well right now. I'm like almost halfway through. And I like it, and I liked Panic as well, but I feel like Delirium, that is just one book I could not get into. It was an interesting concept, but I wish that had been done differently. I wish that it wasn't a trilogy. I wish it was a standalone that had really just asked the question, what would a society that does not believe in love, that thinks it's a disease and something that needs to be eradicated, what kind of society is that? You know, I feel like it could have um, been done a lot differently. I feel like it didn't have to turn into like this love triangle that I feel like it was like going towards. And you know, I feel like if the last book had ended where it ended, even being a cliffhanger and the last two books hadn't happened at all, I still would have liked it, like, more than it being a trilogy. I feel like it didn't need to be a trilogy, that it could have just left us on a cliffhanger wondering, like, what happens to this horrible society. Like, I know that's crazy, and I know lots of people are probably going to disagree with me because it's torturous when books end on cliffhangers, but I love cliffhangers, and I feel like if the book had just ended there, um, if this is a spoiler, I'm sorry, but with the girl escaping and the guy getting stuck on the other side of the fence in this society, I feel like that's really interesting, and it leaves like a lot for me to think about. And I didn't need the other two books. I feel like, even I'll be honest, I didn't read them, but I heard what happened, and I just I disagree with what happened. I feel like it just didn't need to, and I feel like it would have been really great as a standalone that had been done a little differently. The last book I'm going to talk about, I promise it'll be short because I talk so much about Delirium, um, is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey? Yancey? Is that how you say his last name? This book was super boring to me. I feel like the author was trying way too hard to write from a teenager's point of view, and she just didn't seem real to me. I feel like she talks so strangely, and the language in this book I just is so weird, and the way it's written I just do not like it. I feel like it doesn't flow very well. I felt like I was reading a really choppy book, even though, I mean, it was okay. It's just I really didn't like, I mean, the end result was okay. Like, I liked the way it ended, but I still didn't go to the next book because overall, the whole book, I didn't like the characters, and I feel like the plot could have been done better. And, yeah, The only good thing I can say about it is it had an interesting ending. So, wasn't my thing. If you love these books, like I said, whatever, they're just books, but they weren't for me. So thank you for watching my video, for putting up with me for like 10 minutes. I'll see you in my next one. Hopefully it won't take me so long to upload, but bye!